Gradually, the heroes felt the menacing shadow of the apocalypse spreading over their lives, infiltrating every corner of their consciousness. At first, there were only subtle signs, invisible cracks in reality that they brushed aside, hoping it was just their imagination. But as they progressed on their journey, these cracks widened, penetrating deeper into their essence. They began to notice how ordinary people became increasingly indifferent, devoid of emotions, as if puppets in the hands of an unknown force. Good and evil merged into one, and the boundaries between reality and illusion blurred. The heroes immersed themselves in an illusory, blissful life where everything seemed beautiful and serene. They encountered old friends and loved ones who suddenly ceased to remember the past and their shared adventures. Yet, deep within their souls, an overwhelming discomfort lingered, an indefinite feeling that all of this was not real but merely a false illusion. Awakening them from their illusions was the stern voice of justice fighter and young activist Emily Blackwood. The girl happened to be addressing a group of people, striving to convey that they were not slaves but free to shape their own destiny, with unity being paramount. Emily was a fiery-haired girl with eyes that burned with a passion to eradicate injustice and oppression. Growing up in poverty and witnessing the suffering of ordinary people under a system where the rich and powerful oppressed the weak, fueled a desire for change and justice in her heart. Emily delved into the study of ancient knowledge and rituals to gain strength and understand how to confront injustice. She discovered secret orders and ancient gods that existed beyond the ordinary world. With each secret text studied and every ritual performed, she acquired more knowledge and magical power. Emily became the voice of the oppressed, speaking before crowds of people in an attempt to awaken their consciousness. She inspired people to fight for their rights and freedom rather than being puppets in the hands of power. Her impassioned speeches had a profound influence on many, and they began to see her as the hope and foremost fighter for justice. On her path, Emily encountered obstacles and dangers, having to battle agents of power who sought to suppress her spirit and silence her voice. But she never gave up. Every attempt to suppress her only strengthened her resolve and power. And when the world stood on the brink of apocalypse, Emily met Daniel and Era, two recluses immersed in the study of secrets and enigmas. They realized that their destinies were intertwined, and only by uniting their strengths could they stop the catastrophe and save the world. Emily Blackwood assembled a team of extraordinary individuals who could contribute to the fight against the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. In one of her passionate speeches before a crowd, she spoke of her longtime friend, the traveler and adventurer, Nicolo Vargas. Emily described him as a mysterious and brave man who embarked on lengthy journeys around the world, uncovering secrets and historical artifacts. She recounted his sharp mind, resourcefulness, and unusual abilities that made him a valuable ally. Nicolo Vargas was born into a family of travelers and adventurers. His parents exposed him to the world of history and the mysteries of ancient civilizations. From a young age, he accompanied them on their perilous and thrilling expeditions, immersing himself in the world of ancient artifacts and forgotten secrets. However, fate dealt Nicolo a tragedy when his parents perished during one of their journeys. Left orphaned, he resolved to continue his parents' legacy and become an independent explorer. Nicolo traveled the world, studying various cultures, archaeological finds, and historical artifacts. He became an expert in enigmas and unraveling the mysteries concealed within ancient ruins and forbidden places. His reputation and unique knowledge drew attention and commanded respect among colleagues and researchers. However, with each new discovery, Niccolo began to notice something more sinister, witnessing ominous forces that threatened the world from the depths of the past. He realized that his travels not only unveiled ancient secrets but also exposed him to the most dangerous forms of evil. This led Niccolo to legends of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse and their destructive deeds. He decided that his mission was to find a way to stop the Horsemen and save the world from devastation. After years of wandering and studying ancient relics, Niccolo Vargas returned to his hometown, where he reunited with the rest of the team, Era, Daniel, and Emily. It was a meeting filled with mixed emotions, joy of reunion, and apprehension for the impending trial. Weary from his journeys and burdened by the sorrow of loss, the wanderer greeted his friends with soft words and sincere embraces. He shared his path with them, delving into the darkness, seeking magical knowledge and power to vanquish the demon and halt the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Gathered together by fate itself, Era, Daniel, Emily, and Niccolo each possessed their own secrets, abilities, and demons, but they had to unite against the Horsemen. The heroes' meeting took place in a secret room they used as their operational base. Each of them was enveloped in a sense of anxious anticipation and excitement for what lay ahead. They gathered around an old table illuminated by somber candles, creating an atmosphere of mystery and secrecy, with tension palpable in the air. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. "We have gathered here to discuss our plan of action, but let's be honest, this fight will not be easy. We have already encountered the corrupt upper castes who seek to destroy the weak. And now we also face the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But we cannot stop. Our goal is to protect the people and uncover the truth." "Yes, Danny, but are we taking on too much? We are fighting against a system that possesses unparalleled resources and power. Fighting the upper castes and now the Horsemen. It's overwhelming. Perhaps we should focus on one threat to increase our chances of success." "True, Niccolo, but here's the thing. Each of us has witnessed how the system engulfs and destroys people's lives. We cannot simply watch as they play gods. We must bring about change, expose the truth, and hold accountable those who toy with human lives." And I agree with Era. We possess the necessary skills and resources to strike at the system from all fronts. Yes, it will be challenging, but we can deliver a significant blow and give hope to those who have suffered under corrupt structures. Well, perhaps we are indeed taking a big risk, but if not us, then who? Our goal is not only to protect ourselves, but also to stop this insane, all-consuming machine. We must come together, utilize our skills and evidence to defeat the darkness and bring forth light and justice. That's what I'm talking about, determination. Let's unleash a storm of truth upon these parasites that they cannot ignore. Let's be the voice of millions that cannot be silenced. Let our words be our sword, and our valor pave the way for change. Daniel, weary and contemplative, rummaged through old scrolls and books, flipping through pages in search of crucial information about the Horsemen. Era, focused and enigmatic, sat in the corner of the room, closing her eyes and delving into her visions and prophecies. Emily, energetic and determined, prepared a table with maps, diagrams, and ritualistic objects. She possessed knowledge of ancient rituals that could help them halt the Horsemen. Nicolo, mysterious and silent, stood by the window, gazing into the distance with piercing eyes. Era, secluded in her own chamber, immersed herself in deep meditation. Her consciousness became clear, opening itself to ancient knowledge that led her through the dark paths of the past, a hand clutching an ancient scroll adorned with intricate symbols and prophetic writings. Gradually, her mind began to decipher the meaning behind these signs. Images and visions filled her consciousness, transporting her to another realm. Plague visions invaded her thoughts. She saw walls hiding deadly diseases and heard the cries of people suffering from their consequences. But amidst these visions, something else caught her attention. It was an ancient artifact hidden within the depths of the scroll. It was a map that led to the hidden source of the plague's power. Her young heart skipped a beat as she realized that this artifact could shatter the indomitable force of the Horsemen. Closing her eyes, Era focused on her own streams of power. Her hands began to tremble, and her body sank into a trance. Goosebumps ran down her spine as she made contact with ancient magic, and suddenly she saw it. She saw the place where the source of the plague's power was hidden, an abandoned temple infused with diseased energies. She saw a black lake emanating a putrid stench of decay and death. Within that lake, there gaped a hole leading into the depths of the earth, where the root of the Horsemen was concealed. Era opened her eyes, her heart beat faster, filled with the knowledge that she had found a path to weaken the plague. She realized that this artifact and her own abilities would become the key to victory over the first Horseman. Daniel, immersed in his research, decided to turn to ancient mystical sources to uncover the weakness of war, the second horseman of the apocalypse. He ventured into a forgotten place with a terrifying reputation known as the Prison of Warriors. The Prison of Warriors was an underground labyrinth where the souls of illustrious warriors who perished in brutal battles were held. Daniel knew that by delving into these dark energies and deciphering forgotten runes, he could uncover the secret of war. As he made his way through the labyrinth, Daniel began to sense the invisible presence of war, which permeated the air with potent energy. The walls of the chambers were adorned with depictions of battles, where blood merged with darkness. In the depths of the Prison of Warriors, Daniel discovered a sacred site where forgotten texts and runes were kept. He carefully held the wooden mantras in his hands and barely had time to read a few symbols before the scripture crumbled right in his hands. His consciousness plunged into a mist, and whispers of fallen warriors echoed in his ears, their ominous words penetrating his heart. A fleeting vision appeared before his eyes, war engaged in senseless battles, weary and depleted warriors covering the battlefield. But at the same time, Daniel caught a glimpse of a small spark of hope, a light that penetrated through the darkness, symbolizing the power of harmony and peace. War's weakness lay in his constant need for battles and divisions. Craving conflict, the Horsemen thrived on the energy of destruction. Leaving the Prison of Warriors, Daniel returned to his allies to share his discoveries. He understood that the path to victory over war lay in unity and the strength of peaceful resolve. As the forces of the Horsemen began to manifest in reality, a menacing shadow of destruction and death loomed over the world. At first, it was just minor manifestations, mysterious diseases, strange natural catastrophes, and mystical disappearances. But as the Horsemen intensified their presence, catastrophic events struck the world with unprecedented force. Cities were engulfed in darkness and chaos. Streets once bustling and lively turned into desolate and ravaged places. Buildings crumbled under inexplicable tremors, and mountains reverberated with the strikes of elusive forces. The sky was shrouded in ominous clouds, unleashing torrential rain and lightning as if beckoning for destruction. People found themselves defenseless against this ruthless phenomenon. They suffered from diseases, horrific nightmares, and the loss of loved ones. Merciless whirlwinds of destruction swept through cities, leaving behind only ruins and tears. The forces of the Horsemen, elusive and cruel, unleashed their full power upon the world. The plague spread, claiming lives and filling the streets with lifeless bodies. War sowed discord and death, turning cities into battlefields. Famine tormented people, with their bodies and souls weakened by the scarcity of food and despair. And death, with its piercing blade and cold touch, mercilessly claimed the souls of the departed, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. The world was consumed by terror and despair, but the heroes did not surrender. Armed with their unique abilities and coordinated actions, they fought against the madness, offering hope in a world of hopelessness. They engaged in deadly battles with the minions of the Horsemen, risking their lives to save humanity.